What's up, guys? Abstract Tiger Productions here. I'm Chris.
I'm Drew.
And we are back again with some Ruby, but this is not actual Volume 3 proper yet. Not yet. That's coming later, very soon, I promise. This is World of Remnant, batch number 2, episodes 5, 6, and 7. Technically, looking at where these aired, we could have done these in the reactions for Volume 3. However, looking at the content of these particular 3, it's safe to go ahead and just kind of introduce you to this, before we actually get into Volume 3 proper. It's not that's really going to be any really spoiler-esque type of things.
Okay.
So, we're going to be safe there. Now, Episode 8, those of you who are, like, even numbers out there, Episode 8 will be later. It's going to we're going to do that later, probably post-mid-season of Volume 3. So, we're not going to do that here. Also, sometime during the volume, we'll also be doing a reaction to the death battle that involves Blake Xiaolong.
Okay.
Our favorite blonde-haired superhuman Super Saiyan lady.
Blake? Or Yang?
Yang.
You said Blake.
No, I didn't. I said Yang Xiaolong. Blake Xiaolong. Blake Xiaolong. Okay. It involves... I mean, there will be eventually a death battle with Blake in it, just not this, volume or anything like that. Yang was the first one to get a death battle.
Nice.
So, we'll be doing that. I'm also going to leave her opponent as a question mark as of right now.
Okay.
I think we might have talked about it.
I think we have, but I don't remember. I've slept since then many times.
Okay, so we'll get to that later. So, I guess we'll just get into the first episode 5, which I think is entitled the Vital Festival Tournament. Something that you have been asking about quite a bit, and since first hearing about it in Volume 1? Yes.
Yes, because they spent 2 volumes setting it up.
Well, a lot of other stuff is going on in the world. So, anyways.
We went from the first day of school to now they're having their Tri-Wizard tournament, and I'm just like, okay, sure. Let's rock it. 3.
Okay, alright. Play. And that is the spelling of vital. If you were looking.
VY?
VY.
Oh, then I've been spelling it wrong.
Yeah.
It all began, as most things do,
Husband.
Yes.
with war.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah.
The kingdoms of the
more
world
of
have
a
been locked in a
topographical
violent
map.
struggle for years. But eventually, the Great War of Remnant came to an end on the small island of Vital.
Oh.
It was here that humanity's leaders chose peace over bloodshed and constructed the future of modern society, establishing new laws, new academies, and new traditions. The Vital Festival was created to serve as a celebration of peace between the kingdoms. Every 2 years, a kingdom would be chosen to open its doors to the world, allowing citizens from every corner of Remnant to meet and indulge in one another's cultures. The pinnacle of this event was the Vital Festival Tournament. After the newly formed Huntsman Academies proved to be a success, the Vital Festival Tournament was designed to test the strengths of the kingdom's warriors in a safe and friendly competitive environment. A wonderful method in which to ensure that the world's huntsmen would never settle for mediocrity. but would constantly strive to become the absolute best they could be. As the skills of the huntsmen grew, so did the games. And in time, it was decided that the tournament would need a stage equal in greatness to that of its competitors. Amity Coliseum was the culmination of the Four Kingdoms' efforts, a technological marvel and a shining symbol of harmony, capable of making the journey to all the kingdoms of Remnant. It's true that all of this began with war, but it is peace that has served to shepherd humanity on its ascension to greatness. May we never stray from that path.
Oh my god, thank you so much for watching Ruby World of Remnant. Well, that was...
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Excuse me.
So I understand a little bit better about that
Okay.
now.
Okay. A very oversimplification of oversimplified history. Anyway, yeah, of it, yeah. But
So,
very useful information.
but one thing I noticed was the 4 colors of dust that we talked about in the first World of Remnant were blue, white, red, and green.
Okay, represented by those colors, but yes, yeah.
Well, when he was just talking, those countries or kingdoms were all representative of those different colors.
Mm-hmm.
So, is like Baal the Fire Kingdom and
Well, no, I'm not gonna. No, that's not like that. I mean,
okay,
it's not quite like that. No, I think they were just using the different colors there, just kind of like as a separator. So you like okay, it's a veil blue or whatever it was. I mean that's just a color.
yeah, they had Baal as red, Mistral
Baal as
as okay. Sorry, I'm trying to remember which one's which. Okay, so Atlas is up top. That was white. Vacuole was blue. Mistral was Vacuole was green. Mistral was blue, and Baal was red. In his little
Yeah, but I
imagery.
mean, I see it just as a creative choice, not necessarily anything representative of the entire of the countries themselves.
Okay, see, I thought that was like their country flags or something.
no,
Like representing this is the 4 kinds of dust, so this is the 4 color flags because Atlas is all. The people from Atlas are always dressed in white so far that I've noticed.
Typically, yes, but I see that because they are in a more Arctic
Okay.
area. They wear a lot of white or something like that just to kind of reflect the sunlight, that sort of
Okay.
thing. Yeah. Anyways, but
So I'm just overthinking, like I
Probably,
normally do.
yes. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Next!
but did get a little bit of history about the how it started there, and whatnot. So,
Has anyone ever made a spin-off, either series or comic book or anything? Maybe not Rooster Teeth, but like even fan fiction of the War of Remnant.
maybe I have not went and delved or
Okay.
looked. So, if you
'Cause
people
there's a
know,
lot, I feel like there's a lot of backstory there that could be.
I'm sure that
fleshed
there
out.
is a lot more backstory, especially in the fact that there was the Great Wars between the 4 nations,
Mhm.
as happens.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different sides of different stories from the different sides and whatnot. So, yeah, so it all ended on a small island called Vital.
Yep. Okay.
That's the So, all right. Anything else? Or
Amity Coliseum looks like an ice cream cone.
yeah, I guess you could say that.
Or I guess it would be more of a snow cone because it's got a rounded top. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. I was thinking it might look like a Beyblade, little spinny top things.
I haven't even thought about Beyblades in forever.
Let her rip. See. Nerd. Yeah. Okay. I
New
do-
reaction. Let us know in the
oh,
comments.
Gosh, no.
Oh man.
Jeez. That's not. Okay.
I'll do Beyblade if we can do we can do Digimon.
Okay, moving on. Let's get on to the next one, shall we?
Indeed.
Play. Huntsman. Haha.
Huntsmen and huntresses, the best and brightest warriors of Remnant, ranking higher than Kingdom Police and even military in terms of strength and skill. The occupation was established alongside the Huntsman Academies after the Great War, with the hope of creating elite warriors whose sole purpose would be to combat the creatures of Grim. Beacon Academy was founded in Vale, Haven founded in Mistral, Shade founded in Vacuo, and Atlas founded in the now-defunct Kingdom of Mantle. These institutions accepted graduates of primary combat schools who showed enough promise and tenacity to not only battle the world's deadliest creatures, but also protect their fellow man. For this reason, trainees are grouped into teams,
Who are they?
ensuring the continuous development of communication, empathy, and teamwork. Traits that are vital to any guardian of peace. As an additional precaution to maintaining peace, the founders of the academies believe that their graduates should be kept separate from Kingdom allegiance. Once finished with their training, huntsmen and huntresses are free to choose who they work for, as well as what kind of work they will do through the use of mission boards. Allying with a particular kingdom or village is entirely up to
Kind
the
of like a
individual.
quest board in a RPG.
Yeah.
This academy has come under increasing amounts of scrutiny for the indoctrination of military lifestyle upon its students, pressuring them to enlist in the Atlas military's Special Operatives Unit.
Yeah, well.
Every academy has its own methods of teaching, but the end result is the same. Huntsmen and huntresses ready to make their own paths. Some will stay together as a team, some will move on to work alone. But all are expected to serve humanity and never succumb to the darkness.
Very Kingdom Hearts-esque.
Yes, very much so. I was thinking the same thing. Okay. Atlas, the formerly defunct kingdom of what?
Mantle.
But now it's just called Atlas because
They're
the academy is the
yeah, it's-
nation, essentially.
Yeah, they just kind of like yeah.
Okay.
That's a very watered down oversimplification, but yes.
That's another thing I would like more information on is the rise of Atlas inside Mantle. Sorry, I like back history stuff like that. So Beacon is in Vale, Haven's in Vacuole, Shade's in Mistral. How do you spell Mistral? I'm afraid I keep spelling it wrong. I have it with a
I think
Y.
that's right. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's right.
Okay. And Atlas, formerly known as Mantle.
Yeah.
I did not know that if you're trained at a certain academy, you don't have to stay in that kingdom.
Right.
That was new to me.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's something that it's not really touched on just yet, obviously, because our group are still
Still in
trained.
school,
Yeah,
yeah.
training. But yes, and obviously doing it by like message boards or quest boards, I guess you could say, or whatever, mission boards, that sort of thing. Excuse me. Very, very analogous to whenever, back, because we finished Volume 2, and we had whenever our first years were going to shadow an actual hunter, they had that
Oobleck,
board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a shadow a hunter or huntress or whatever, it doesn't matter. It
Oh,
was
you're talking
somebody.
about in general,
In
the
general,
entire
yes,
school.
yes,
Okay.
yes. They were having that
Okay.
big giant, board that they were looking at. And so, well, this is places over here, and this is over here, and that's why
Okay.
John's team, to Team Juniper, they chose something else.
Yeah, they wanted
off
to
of
put
that
somewhere
board.
where they could somewhat relax. And that did not
Kinda.
work.
Kinda.
Okay, so the thing that I found most interesting about the message board thing is it reminded me of. Okay, so it was originally, I think, Richard Bronson, and then it got remade with Jason Statham. It's called The Mechanic.
Okay.
And it's about an assassin. And the way that they were talking, he has to get his missions, like, on the DL kind of a thing.
Okay.
And so they show up as, like... It's almost like he's reading through an online news article, and it's someone's obituary, so that's the person he has to kill.
Okay.
And it's things like that. And so... Can everybody see these message boards, or do they get them like individual on like some kind of a tablet or something? Like kind of like scrolling through Craigslist. This is one I want to do. This is the one I want to do.
I guess it depends on if you're in like a major city.
Okay.
Then I'm sure there's going to be like, maybe a depot or someplace like that, or some sort of I hesitate to say office of some sort, but and obviously, if you're out and about, you're not necessarily in somebody who might have something like you get it, on the phone. Also, I mean, and that's just like the authorized ones. I mean, obviously, it's implied that you can help the population, regardless. If you're just out there wandering around, not necessarily taking any sort of missions, because they did mention that you can choose however you want to, utilize your.
One follow-up question.
Okay.
Once they graduate and all that stuff, and they like go on nomading or whatever you want to phrase it as, like they haven't chosen the kingdom they want to serve, and they just are going around town to town, fighting Grim. Do people know that they're huntsmen and huntresses? Like, are they like regarded as heroes?
They have a they're assigned a license. A hunter's a license.
Okay, so it's not like the I'm gonna liken it to the Bill Bixby Hulk, where he just goes from town to town, and nobody knows who he is until he does it, and then he has to go to the next town because his secret's out. So are they?
I mean, they're not a secret unless they're doing something shady or something like that. But I mean, there is. I don't think everybody everywhere gets a list. Okay, these are all the hunters or whatever, but they do have a license.
Okay,
that
so
they're
it's
issued or whatever.
So if it's like Ruby Rose just shows up in town,
if there's something goes down, she can help out or whatever. If like the local law enforcement or something like that, she can show, hey, I'm an official huntress or whatever. I can help you out with this, and they're like, okay, sure, go ahead, that sort of thing. Because we know
but they won't know who she is unless she shows that license.
Right, unless it's something.
See, I was liking it.
Unless it's within her own like sphere of influence that she has been or like grew up in her own town or something like that, where people know and hear about all this stuff. Like obviously when she graduates, those people who are watching the graduation ceremony or something like that are going to know. Oh, hey, this person,
Okay.
That sort of thing. But
I wasn't sure if it was kind of like the Avengers or Justice League, where it's like everybody knows who they are. They're completely televised. You can't walk from one street to another without someone walking up and asking for an autograph, kind of a thing. Because they said they're held in a higher esteem than even the military.
Yeah, they can. I mean, it's also going to be based on the person's individual personality.
Okay.
For example, Ren.
Not Blake.
Right. Ren, Blake is good. Also good. Word failed me again. Example.
Yes.
Where they're not necessarily the most outgoing people, so they wouldn't be rolling into town like, "Hi, I'm a huntress." Yeah. They're just probably just.
That's Ruby and Yang.
That would be Nora.
And Nora. I was about to say Nora next.
Nora. Ruby would probably just be like, I want to go find the mission board, and just zoom.
Yeah.
Yang would probably
the first time she zooms through a town, people are like, well, I know who she is. Leaves little rose petals everywhere she goes.
Yes. All right.
Next.
Oh, next one. Final one.
I'm excited. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
I'm loving the backstory stuff. Why did we not do this sooner?
My choice, I guess.
Fair enough.
Hey.
Throughout the years, the world of
Yeah, maybe
Remnant has
not,
seen
right.
hundreds of technological advances that have changed
They just, I guess they
society.
just started the
The most influential of all of
voiceover
them
later.
being
Cross
the cross-continental transmit system. Prior to the invention of the
CCTS.
long-range communication was extremely limited. The discovery and development of radio technology allowed for communication within the boundaries of most kingdoms. But communication with other parts of the world was restricted to the physical delivery of messages.
AKA
Every
Pony
alternative
Express.
form of communication that was proposed, there seemed to be the perfect obstacle.
Grim. Huh.
The destructive nature of the creatures of Grimm severely limited the reliability of ground-based technologies. The concept of relay satellites orbiting around the planet was promising. Unfortunately, modern man has yet to make the technological advancements required to achieve spaceflight, as all known dust types lose their power as they begin to leave Remnant's atmosphere.
Oh.
Eventually, it was the people of Atlas, the world's leader in science and technology, that developed the cross-continental transmit system. It was revolutionary. Like radio, signals were sent and received wirelessly, though the content of these transmissions were not nearly as limited. Audio, video, images, and text were all capable of transmission, and eventually an entire online web of information was at mankind's fingertips. Currently, the system is supported by 4 primary relay towers, each located within a safeguarded area of the kingdoms. These towers allow for wireless communication within a kingdom through the use of devices such as scrolls. Signals become less reliable the farther a user travels from the CCT tower. And although smaller support towers do exist outside of kingdoms, they are constantly at risk of destruction by the creatures of Grimm.
Right.
Shortcomings aside, for the first time in history, digital transmissions between kingdoms were possible through the use of slightly more advanced devices, typically found in homes and CCT centers.
Hi, wives.
The cross-continental transmit system has and will continue to advance the progression of mankind. However, if one of the 4 towers is taken offline, the entire network
Cool logos.
fails with it. A slight inconvenience during routine maintenance, but to be honest, I find the limitation somewhat poetic. No one voice is louder than the others, and no voice may be silenced without the rest. If the people of Remnant are to speak, then they shall do so together. Or not at all.
Or not at all.
That was ominous.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
How are you still jumping at those?
I don't know.
I stopped flinching after the first one.
Because I don't expect it, because I haven't watched these.
I've never watched these.
But at any rate, the CCTS.
Why am I not surprised that Atlas is the one that developed the technology?
Well, they are the ones that are leading the most in technology and in science. So,
Yes, but they're
Yeah.
also the ones that are leading the most in taking over their own kingdom. I'm just saying. Out of all the kingdoms, only one of them has had to change their name because this military basically turned it into a police state.
okay.
Do you disagree with that statement? That's what I feel about Atlas.
I can't say yeah or nay about
Oh, okay.
anything, so yeah. Well,
Okay. I was like, that's what I get out of that is it's a police state because basically, you said he's the secretary of the military. He's also the headmaster of the school, and even they changed the name of the kingdom to the name of the school, so it's the Atlas Academy in Mantle. Nope, scratch that. Doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
We're just gonna call it Atlas.
But yes,
Okay.
we learned about we also learned something. I also had a little bit of a tidbit of information that wasn't in the original Dust video. Dust apparently doesn't work outside the atmosphere.
Yeah, I caught that, and I thought that was. I was waiting to see the actual shuttle explode and not just run out of power and fall. But I thought it was going to explode like the first few attempts at a shuttle did
Well, yeah, okay.
in our world.
Granted, Mercury 1 blew up on the platform itself. Well,
Yes.
they caught fire and nobody was able to get out.
Right. And then the next one I think made it like 500 feet, 1,000 feet, something like that. It went.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to talk about the 80s. That's
well,
sad.
the only one that was in the 80s was Challenger.
That's what I was saying. I was trying to avoid talking about it.
Well,
Just in case it's a trigger for anybody that might be potentially be watching.
Oh, okay, well, I was alive at that time too, so.
Oh, well, okay.
I remember hearing about it in school. But
Did you know that Big Bird almost died?
the actor that plays Big
Yes.
Bird? Okay, no, I did not. But
Okay, so interesting thing, since we're talking about Challenger. NASA wanted to get together with children's programming and get kids more interested in space because they noticed that the people that are actually coming into NASA after graduating college and all that stuff had been coming older and older and older. So they wanted to get kids more interested as younger kids. They had a contract set up. They were they knew the shuttle date, everything, but the costume would not fit in the shuttle. Big Bird would have been on Challenger. Their backup, a high school science teacher. So Big
Wow.
Bird was almost on Challenger.
Wow.
But they could not get the costume on there. He was supposed to go into the upper atmosphere and film an episode of Sesame Street.
Yeah. Well, now that they've scrapped that entire, the space shuttle program, they're not going to do anything with that.
I mean, technically there is still a space shuttle program, but it's not
It's
NASA
shelved.
anymore. It's
shelved.
I'm talking about SpaceX.
That's yes, but it's privatized, yes, but the actual proper space shuttle, has been shelved.
Yeah.
Which the Endeavour, Discovery, and Atlantis are the only three that are left. And technically, Enterprise is still around, but
Isn't it like
it's
at the Smithsonian?
It's or in one of its subsidiary
Yeah.
museums.
I was thinking
somewhere.
it was in National Aeronautics Museum.
That's probably where its primary residence is.
Yeah.
But like with the rest of the stuff in the Smithsonian, things can be shuffled around.
Oh, yeah,
for
there's-
circuits, stuff like that. So.
What is it, like 13 museums, and they're all just called the Smithsonian?
Kinda. Plus, there's also subsidiaries, kind of like the Wild Bill Hickok one in Wyoming. Cody, Wyoming is a branch.
Nothing about this.
Because we didn't get that far in our video for my vacation, that's going to be cut out later.
Okay.
Remember that was the whole ordeal with like, oh my gosh, it's 2 hours later, and you were supposed to go to see a movie.
I don't remember what movie that was supposed to be.
I don't remember either. But,
Wow. Okay.
But yes,
We just dated this video.
Yes, that was a long time ago. Well, I probably might edit that whole thing out. But after the whole Wild Bill Hickok, it is a branch of the Smithsonian, but it is not. It's under the Smithsonian name, I guess you could say, but it's not like the Smithsonian or like one of the proper
one in
ones.
Washington. Yeah.
Yes, but when we were there in visiting, a lot of the firearms that would normally would have been there have been was uprooted and transported someplace to another museum somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So,
The only museum I've been to like that is the NRA Museum at Bass Pro Shop in Springfield, I believe. The Granddaddy.
Yeah. And that's number one. I think I've been to number two. Let's start number two.
Which was that?
I think it's in Ohio or no, I don't. Wait. I'm trying to think. That way.
Geography?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of geography. Yeah. Anyways, not Ohio. It's not
Idaho?
It's not Idaho because that's potatoes. That's over here.
That's potatoes.
That's potatoes.
Illinois?
Illinois. Yes. That has any rate. Moving on.
Okay.
But yes.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
What
That there's like subsidiaries of the Smithsonian that actually carry the Smithsonian name outside of Washington, because I only knew about the 13 pods.
Yeah.
Because that's like one of my biggest like desires is to, politics aside, I want to go to Washington D.C. for like a whole week
Oh,
visit
yes.
all the monuments, all the museums.
Right.
I want to walk the
Air and
Potomac.
Space Museum would be fantastic because unless they have taken it out by now, they have an X-wing starfighter in it.
I don't know if they took it out, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think that's the, if I remember right, that is the one in, if it wasn't Disney Plus Day or something like that, but when, oh my gosh, I just lost her name. The Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, when she announced her Rogue Squadron movie, it actually was her walking towards a live action, like, replica of an X-Wing in a full flight suit.
This is actually one of the newer X-wings.
Okay.
The I think it's the same model as Poe Dameron's T-85,
Right.
but it's not his. It's just a model.
See, I've always been more attracted to the Y-Wings. I think they just look cooler to me. The X-Wings are cool because, they got the flare out when you actually...
you look at them and straight on there, an X.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Well, I was talking about,
Yeah.
they're like, squished,
Yeah.
and then when it comes time for them to actually, like, enter hyperspace, they go, whoop. So...
No. Opposite way.
Opposite way, yes, you're correct.
When they go into combat, then they spread their
Yes.
the wings and bare their teeth.
Bare their teeth. But no, I did have it backwards, you're correct.
Yeah.
But no, I for some reason, I've always been more, I've been more interested in Y-Wings.
So you're more of a bomber type as opposed to air to, okay, dogfighter, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, between that and the, what's it called? I can't remember the name of the class, but there's a specific class of TIE fighter that also is intriguing to me.
Oh, the TIE bomber? Maybe?
No.
There's
it's
the TIE
the
bomber,
Inquisitor
TIE
style.
fighter.
It's the kind the Inquisitors fly. That's got the, instead of it being, like, rounded, it's like, half like an octagon on each side.
Oh, well, it's kind of sort of like, I don't know what the variant is called on that.
I have one in a model form back home. I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but it's like my... It's the older version of the one that Kylo Ren flies.
Yeah. I would say that's more of like a specialized, designed individually for them, as opposed to like a group, a giant group. Which they've got the TIE fighter, which is their standard, ship to ship.
Yep.
Fighter combat. They have the TIE Interceptor, which is designed to counter the A-Wing, which is faster than the X-Wing, which is an interceptor class. It's supposed to be, get there and it's slow down things till the rest of the fleet can get there. Then you have the bomber, and I guess you could say it's maybe like a specialist class because it can be multi-role. I guess you could say. I don't know where. Granted, the TIE Defender was still in its prototypal stage. So
that might be the one I'm thinking of, where it's got like the long flaring wings and it's got like an octagon shape.
No.
What am I thinking of? So it's got the. I don't want to draw because I can't draw, but you've got the regular orb from a TIE, and then coming off of it, instead of having the round, it's got like an octagon shape, and the wings flare out this way.
I don't remember. I don't know, because the only ones that I remember is from Rebels, and they have the more rounded. They're narrower. They're rounded. They do have the center orb, but they can like fold in on themselves to land, kind of like Moff Gideon's TIE fighter.
Right.
His panels folded.
Right.
Anyways. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Ruby here. So I don't.
How did we get there?
I don't know.
No dust, go boom. Got it.
No dust in space because it just goes inert. It just doesn't do anything. So they have these land-based satellites, which is obviously capable of beaming signals. Four of them around the entire world.
Yes, and I do find it very interesting, and I liked his little cheeky comment at the end. When one goes down, they all go down.
Yeah.
That way there's no, and I like that because then it's almost like there's no secret communication between the two that can cause another
Right.
war,
Yeah.
essentially. We either all talk or none of us talk.
Yeah.
And I really like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling that with this, the events that happen at the end of Volume 2, and like I said, the police state that Atlas has set up, in my opinion,
Okay.
I get the feeling that we're setting up another War of Remnant. Because Ironwood had Torchwick in his custody, and I get the feeling that that's not going to end well for our main players at Beacon.
Well, we won't know that until we actually get into Volume 3 when that happens. So
Right.
I know what happens.
Close the
I
book on
can't
that.
say nothing. So, anything else? Any final thoughts or anything like that?
No.
Okay, alright. Well, then I guess we'll just wrap this up right now. Thank you guys for joining us with these nice little bundles of World of Remnant. As I had mentioned earlier, there is an 8th one we will be doing in the middle somewhere. I will find the actual proper spot for it to be shown in the volume proper, as well as the death battle that involves Yang. So be looking for that, but also the volume itself. So yay! Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. That'll help us out also, and also let you know when new videos go up and whatnot. So also Patreon is a thing down there, and I think that's all of the end stuff that I need to talk about. So I'm going to say my final thoughts. The final 2 lines. Bye bye and be blessed, everyone.